Right, guys, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to believe in yourself, especially when no one else does. Listen up, this ain't going to be some cringy motivational bullshit, right? This is going to be a practical guide on how you can change how you think about things to have the type of delusional self-belief that you're just going to start tearing through life with. Believe me, once you get this is what aura. This is the definition of aura. Once you have that delusional self-belief, and if you can hack your mind to get to this point, you're just going to be able to do anything that you want. You're going to give zero fucks what anyone thinks about you. Your self-confidence is going to skyrocket, and you're just going to start executing, and you're going to start seeing things really compound. Now, I was blessed to stumble on very exquisite self-belief very early in my life. I stumbled onto an opportunity that really boosted me in this. And look, the reason why you don't believe in yourself is simply because of one thing. So for me to then have this self-belief, the reason why I had such big self-belief, and I wrote some notes on my phone, so you will see me looking down. Even I can't remember everything off the top of my mind. But look, the self-belief was I was able to work for myself starting at 17. And very quickly, even after a few months, I was earning 100, 200, 300 pounds a day. And look, that's not the most amount of money in the world. But when you start earning money for yourself at a very young age, you don't have the experience of failing over and over and over and over and over again, right? Look, I've had a lot of failures. I've had a lot of fucking failures, and especially when I started out. But I started earning money relatively quickly. And what it meant was I had this delusional self-belief that made me look at opportunities completely different. You know, I didn't even think for a second I'm going to have to get a job. I didn't even think that for a second, and I didn't, right? And having that feeling of being able to just go and turn things into money, like having that level of self-belief and just always trusting in yourself that you can just take care and handle any situation, like you just start living life on easy mode. And there's a lot I learned about this. Now, saying this was at an early age. Okay, but there was a stage not so long ago, around a year and a half ago, where, look, I really went through some black swan event. Okay, there was financial issues, personal issues, health issues, just so, like every area of your life going wrong at once. And, you know, this happens in every man's life. It happened to me all at once, and it was a very, very bad time. And I essentially found myself trapped in a situation that just destroyed all my self-belief. I went from being this guy who was completely independent, had an ability to make money, tall, in shape, lots of friends, able to go speak to anyone, confident, had clout from owning my own business at a young age. Everything that you'd think you'd want going right, and really like feeling on top of the world, to literally, I've told this story before, my mind was in the gutter that much. I was that unhealthy that mentally, that I had a broken TV in the living room downstairs, yeah? And this TV was like leaned on against the wall, this like 42-inch black TV. It was just leaned against the wall. Now, this TV was broken, okay? This TV needed to go in the bin. The bin was just 5 meters away outside. I needed to take that TV from there to there, right? And my confidence and self-belief was at a level, and some people might not believe this, where I could not mentally get myself to take that TV out to the bin. I mentally could not muster up the courage to get that TV and take it out to the bin. Bearing in mind, right? I started a business from zero, doing market stalls, little £2 sales here and there, collecting scrap metal, starting from proper zero, myself, and built a business myself that generated me millions in sales, right? That guy built the body I wanted, had all the social skills, went through all the self-development, to that. Not being able to even take this TV out and put it in the bin. Mentally, I was struggling. I had zero self-belief. The worst I've ever had in my entire life. And it was even harder because I'd already had a lot of experiences and I'd already been through a lot of things to have a high self-belief. So I felt like if I can't have self-belief, even though I've done all this stuff, I'll never have it. And you know, you get when you get into a negative mindset like this, it really stops you being able to live your life, and it also it degrades and discounts all the information and knowledge that you have. And I really had to build my self-belief back up from scratch to where it was before, and if not higher. And so I've really experienced having delusional self-belief where you just reaching goal and goal and goal. You're making more money, more money, more money, getting in better shape, more friends, doing more stuff, more holidays. And I've been at the very bottom of self-belief as well. So I know a lot about this. And look, let me tell you something. I had to build up from scratch. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because you can have all the attributes that you want, all the attributes that you think are going to give you self-belief, right? But if you don't do what I'm about to share, all that doesn't matter, right? All that does not matter at all. First thing you've got to do if you want to build killer self-belief, right? You've got to keep promises to yourself, okay? Now, what I realized is after a long time, this person that I turned into, where my mental health was really bad, where I started turning negative, where my mind started working differently, this wasn't the character that I'd built in the first place, right? Because I would say that I'm going to do this thing. I would say that I'm going to wake up on this time, and I didn't do it. Because I was convincing myself that to be honest, I was in such a mess that whatever action I took on that day didn't even impact the amount of mess that I was in. That's where my mind was fucked up. But to get your self-belief back, you have to focus on things on a daily basis. And if you say you're going to do it, you fucking do it, right? That's where I had to start. And look, what this looked like for me, considering what I've just explained, that state I was in mentally, yeah? So what I did when I was in that state, I started journaling, right? I started journaling to get my thoughts back. I realised that my mind was thinking negative and I had to start focusing on things I was grateful for. Now, my mind was that negative that I was discounting everything that I've got in my life that I could be grateful for. You know, I still had a lot of things I was grateful for, right? But when your mind's working against you, negative, it discounts all of that. And I couldn't even think about what I'm grateful for. I genuinely convinced myself I have nothing. I have nothing because I was in this bad mental health state, right? So I had to start rewiring my brain to think positively. So I started focusing on what I'm grateful for. Now, I literally sat with a pen and the piece of paper in front of me trying to write, I'm grateful for X, and I couldn't think of anything. Now, at the time, one thing that I did have, I had a Ritz-Carlton pen that I got from a mastermind that I went to in Dubai, right? This black pen, it said the Ritz-Carlton on it. It was probably the best pen I've ever written with in my entire life. I hold a pen a bit weird. I hold a pen like this. I don't hold a pen like this. I hold a pen like this. So when I get a pen that's like this hexagon pattern, I don't like that shit because I hold it like this. I like it smooth. This pen was smooth. It was a nice weight. The ink was thick enough. It was a sliding pen. It was metal. It looked classy. It was a good pen. What can I say? We're a good pen. I write a lot of stuff down. I like when I get a good pen. So this pen's really nice. So I started writing on this sheet of paper, right? I'm grateful for this pen. And at the time, that's all I had. That's all I could think of. And I had to choose that because that was the thing that I was looking at. That was the only thing that my mind could focus, what I had in my hand and what I looked at. So that's where it all started, from that pen. So I'm writing down, I'm grateful for this pen, I'm grateful for this pen, I'm grateful for this pen, right? Then I started adding more stuff on it. I'm grateful for the weather outside. I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, right? So then my mind started training itself to be more positive. Then the next thing what I did, I started writing goals again, right? I started writing goals. I started writing things that I could do. Now, at the time, I was very far away from any of these goals, but it gave me that focus again. Started writing the goals down. Then my daily actions slowly started to change in line with the goals. And slowly, I started building that momentum back up. You know, fast forward now, I achieved one of my big goals. I moved countries. I started a new business, right? I did these things on the list. But at the time, I had to start at that very low stage. Now, that is the entirety of how to build confidence and self-belief. It's keeping that promise to yourself over and over again. It's building that self-reputation, right? When you have a reputation with yourself, you trust yourself. The problem is, if you're constantly saying you're going to do things or mentally wanting to do things over and over again and you don't do it, you're building that self-reputation of low confidence because you can't even trust your own words and your own self. But when you say, I'm going to get up at this time and do it, you build confidence. When you say, I'm going to eat this and do it, you build confidence. When you say, I'm going to go to the gym on this day and you go do it, you build confidence. When you say, I'm going to post that content and do it, you build confidence. Over time, your reputation with yourself changes, right? So same way that I got super confident and my self-belief went up so much in the first place is because when I said I was going to go do something, I went and did it. And I got the results for that. And over time, you change that reputation with yourself. Then you start believing in yourself. Then that starts compounding. Then you start seeing things happening in your life. And look, if you're worrying about people not believing in you, like, to be honest, if no one believes in you, then you've either got someone super, super negative around you, or you're not executing enough. Because if you were really about it and all in and going at it early till late, as much as you should be as a young man, and really pushing it hard, and really doing all the things that you say you're going to do, if you were the type of person to say you're going to do something and then do it over and over and over again, people would have no choice but to believe in you. Because you're always putting that effort in, right? And to be honest, you should be so busy in that involved and driving your own ship that if people don't believe in you, you can't even hear it. Right? You're that busy pushing and pressing forward that that doesn't even faze you. That little shit in people's opinions, it doesn't even faze you anymore. You're so busy in compounding these little wins over and over again, thinking about the next move, taking the next move, posting the next thing, doing the next thing, over and over and over again. None of that shit phases you. And then by you living like that, by extension, you will get people believing in you. Because they've got no choice though. If they're seeing you go so hard, going hard every single day, they have no choice but to believe in you. And if they don't, fuck them. If you're executing enough and you know you're executing, that's all you need. Now, the final little hack that you want to do, and this is a little bit of a dark trick right here. Attach shame to your verbal commitment. Let me explain, right? If you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, don't just be okay with that. Attach shame to it. Feel ashamed of that. You have to be building the relationship with the words that you say so strong that if you don't stick to them, you feel genuine shame. And by the way, I still make mistakes on this. I told a guy last week, I'm in Thailand now. A guy had a fight last week. I don't really know him that well, but I told his friend, like, I'm going to come to the fight, right? And I was meant to go with my friend. My friend ended up cancelling. I didn't end up going on my own. And I just thought to myself that afterwards, like, I should have gone to that because I told him I was going to that. Right? I felt genuine shame by telling him I was going to go and not going. So it still happens. Sometimes you need a little bit of reminder to get back into it. But I know that that's going to affect my reputation with myself. So if I say I'm going to do something, I have to do it. Now, that wasn't the most important thing in the world to me because it was a guy that I just met. But even still, that should be important. Because that is your reputation and that is the belief in yourself. That is directly linked. And when you attach shame to it, there's a thing that I used to say to my friends, yeah? Me and my friend used to say to each other, if I tell you I'm going to be somewhere and I don't show up, call the police because I'm fucking dead. What that means is I'm going to be there no matter what. And if I'm not, call the police because I have to be dead. The only reason why I wouldn't be there is because I'm dead. Yeah, when you attach that level of commitment to your words, what it means is every time you speak the word and say you're going to do it, if you say you're going to go on a run tomorrow, you are going on that run. Yeah, this is why you should be so into fitness because this is going to build your self-belief, right? So if you say you're going to run tomorrow, if it's throwing it down with rain, if you don't have time, if you end up being so busy, you are going on that run because you've said it. And when you can attach your belief to the words like that, like even me now, I'll start speaking things into existence before I've done them. I'll tell people I'm doing this. At the time, I'm not prepared to do what I'm saying. But inside, I know that I should be doing it. So I'll say it because then I'm forced to do it, right? This is the same thing. Like I put a video on saying I'm moving to Thailand. So I put a video on the internet saying I'm going to do this thing. I'm using that as accountability. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. That's what it comes down to. And I say it in front of the whole world because I know that I'm going to stick to that. And if you can get to that level of self-commitment, like the difference you'll feel on your day-to-day life, your self-belief, wow, night and day, you'll start living life completely differently. And even when, right, you're still going to feel nervous in yourself sometimes. It's like I went to Muay Thai the other day. I've not done sparring in a while. I've just started getting back into Muay Thai since I've been in Thailand. I've been training for about a month now. I've not sparred in a long time, so I were not getting super nervous sparring, but there were a little something in there. You know, when you're fighting guys that you've never fought before, like, I'm 6'3", I'm about 180 pounds, 185 pounds, 83 kg in weight. I'm quite big, you know. Listen, I was sparring with some guys that were 95 kg lean. I was sparring with some guys that were like 120 kg, some guys that were like 6'5", even taller than me. You know, you're not going to get battered, but you still got that little nervous feeling, right? But I didn't want to go to training. I didn't want to go, but I still went because I know that I have to do it in order to keep that self-reputation, right? I have to do it because if I didn't do it, I'd feel the shame and then it'd start affecting my self-image. And you can't let that self-image slip. That's the thing that you need to keep up. So yeah, just a quick one today. Hope you enjoy that, boys. Listen, subscribe to the channel and I'll see you on the next one. All the best.